It's not.
Bienvenidos al podcast de Casa Árabe, donde se encuentran España y el mundo árabe.
Good afternoon and welcome to this new lecture at Casa Árabe. And today we're going to talk about decolonizing anthropological thought, a Moroccan perspective, by Professor Hassan Rachik, who's a professor of anthropology at the Mohammed VI Polytechnic University in Rabat. Thank you very much, Hassan, for accepting our invitation to be with us today. Travel to Madrid in order to cover these topics and share your views and your expertise on this topic. Just a few days ago, the French-Moroccan writer Leila Slimami, in an interview in which she was promoting her latest book, said that it takes a really long time to decolonize bodies, minds, and places. And so today we're going to talk about decolonizing anthropology. And so I suppose that means that it will take a lot longer to decolonize thought and disciplines like anthropology or anthropological thought, which is what we're going to talk about today, especially considering that social sciences are such, and the way in which societies are analyzed and studied from different forms of organization, political, social, economic, developed in Europe within the colonial context. That is, at the same time that the images and concepts that were built about other societies and people in the colonial period developed, as well as power relations within them. And in this sense, Hassan Rachik is going to talk to us about decolonization of anthropology in a post-colonial context from the perspective of the work of Moroccan anthropologists of the last decades and the different strategies that may free the anthropological heritage from ethnocentric ideas. This is part of the Aula Universitaria lecture series that we organized in cooperation with the master's degree in International Studies with the Autonomous University of Madrid and the Complutense University's program as well. And in order to introduce Professor Rachik and the lecture, we have Gonzalo Fernández, who's a lecturer in Arab and Islamic Studies from the Autonomous University, representing the South European Studies Euro-Sud Master's program. So thank you, Gonzalo, for being with us today and for all the support that you've given us from the Master's program and from the Autonomous University for this program. And before I give you the floor, let me just remind you of a couple of practical aspects. As you know, the goal of Aula Árabe Universitaria is to enrich university studies with speakers who are experts in Arab or Islamic topics, and also so that students can get a chance to approach different topics from different disciplines or perspectives. So for all the students who attend from the different programs, you will have the choice. If you attend half the lectures, not just the ones in your own master's program, but all the other lectures as well, you will be able to get an Aula Árabe diploma. But to do that, we need you to sign in. Those of you who are in the room can do so using your Mundo Árabe passport, which you've picked up on your way in. We will stamp each of your sessions here. And those of you who are following this online, because this is being broadcast live through Casa Árabe's YouTube channel in Spanish, and so those of you who are following that can sign in with your name and last name and the university program you follow and the university you go to, and that will be stored and we'll use it to check attendance so that you can get the credits and the diploma eventually. And also to remind you that if you're following this online, you can ask questions. We will have a Q&A after Professor Rachik's lecture. You will be able to ask questions using the chat tab on the platform. And the lecture is going to be in English here in the room, but it will be broadcast in Spanish in our YouTube channel. But you can also later follow the podcast in either language in a couple of days. Okay, Gonzalo, I'm going to give you the floor. All right, good evening. Thank you, Olivia. It's a real pleasure to be back in Casa Árabe with Aula Árabe and the Eurosud Master's Program, and to be here to introduce someone I hadn't met in person, Professor Hassan Rachik, whom I'd like to welcome to Madrid and to Casa Árabe. And Professor Hassan Rachik is a member of a generation of Moroccan academics and researchers whom I greatly admire. Self-made scholars who have been able to not just stand out in their respective academic fields in Morocco, but also outside Morocco. And they are outstanding in different fields as well, in France, in the US, also in Arab-speaking countries. And I think that's really special, and it's worth mentioning how successful this generation of scholars have become. From Morocco, they've been able to reach the whole world, and have done so not just by studying local subjects, but also universal topics like anthropology. When I think about these things, I do miss some of the scholars and academics of that generation having studied Spanish so that they could have spoken to us in our own language. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about decolonizing anthropological thought, but there's that other part of colonial anthropology which also had contact with Morocco, which was the Spanish protectorate. And I think bringing those two elements together, someone who's got such an important research project as Professor Rachik might have borne some really interesting fruit. Sometimes there's still a bit of a separation, I think, in this whole Spanish colonial and French colonial history, and I think that perhaps we need a generation of scholars who will not just be able to reach the rest of the world, but also be able to bring together those two elements with critical thinking, as Professor Rachik has done. He's got an impressive resume. He's lectured at some of the best universities in the world, like Princeton, many European universities as well, and his works published in French and English, also available in Arabic. He's worked on topics on the Moroccan nomads and peasants, and a study of that segment of Moroccan society through which he's been able to build universal paradigms. So it's a real honor and a real pleasure to have you with us today. I hope you will enjoy his lecture, and I'm not going to take any more of his time because we had another session before this, and I know that what he likes best to hear questions from students, and so we want to leave as much time as possible for that. So welcome again, Professor Hassan Rachik, and you have the floor.